Welcome to the Go Rhody podcast. I'm your host, Scott Brand. I have a great guest today. He's the first incoming freshman for next season. Her name is Barrett Loer.
Yep.
You're a 6'6" guard slash wing, maybe? Is that,
Yeah. Mhm.
is
Yeah.
6'6" the height that we're going with?
Yeah.
I see
Works.
4'4", 6'3".
Yeah. 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", around
Yeah.
there.
So you had quite a recruitment last year.
Yeah.
Last year is when you had some really big games and you attracted HMs, like 4 high majors at least.
Mm.
You were everyone wanted you to play for them. And then the injuries happened. You fractured both your feet. Is that a strange thing to do, or is it more like you were off
Um.
balance, or does it happen often? I was researching it. There's some famous.
Yeah. I feel like it's a pretty common injury in basketball. Two of my friends are sort of dealing with the same thing this year. The first time it was sort of overuse, just
Mhm.
tweaked it a little bit, and I kept playing on it. And over time, it just sort of fractured. And then the left one landed on someone's foot, rolled my whole ankle. I think it sort of just pulled apart at that same area. So that one's sort of more of a freak accident, but this first one was definitely just overuse.
Well, you said it was a blessing in disguise, your injury. Do you remember that in
Yeah.
one of your articles? You want to explain that? Because I think that'll really point out what I'm trying to get across.
Yeah. I part of my game I think I was missing a little bit was the physical attributes. I weighed 170 pounds in
Uh-huh.
October, and I'm checking in at the end of the summer at 190. So, I gained a lot of muscle weight just in terms of getting ready for the college sort of landscape and size of the people there. So, definitely gaining those pounds and taking my body to a different level, even though I wasn't playing basketball, allowed me to sort of do that, which I don't think would have happened as quickly as it would have if I was playing the whole time.
Also, you found who was serious about you and who was. There were some teams that checked out. I don't understand why. You're 18 now.
Yeah, I'm 18.
So you're 18 and you have some fractures on your foot and they're checking out on you. I don't get that.
Yeah.
You're still the same player who did really well. You were in a tournament that you did really well. What was the name of that tournament last year?
In the summertime,
Yeah,
Under Armour Championships, Under Armour, whatever the
yeah.
UA circuit is.
Was that your breakthrough, or what was your breakthrough where you started
Um,
getting the calls?
yeah, I had a really good 16U spring and summer. I like stringed together like 4 really good weekends back to back to back to back and just played really solid throughout the whole summertime and springtime. So um that definitely was sort of like the breakthrough-ish. I was sort of like the lead role in that team. So having the ball in my hands and, having good teammates and coaches around me sort of put me in a position to allow myself to get recruited the way I did.
The way I look at it, it was a highway robbery by Archie Miller getting you because he out recruited teams like Xavier. We don't call it Xavier. They hate that, don't they? A
Xavier,
lot
right?
of people who just don't know the cities in this country called Xavier, and I know you know it obviously, but you had Xavier, you had Minnesota. What other schools? There were at least 4 or 5 high
Yeah, I also
majors.
had Penn State, Wake Forest,
Yeah, with Wake
and,
Forest too.
and then I had a few other A10s and then sort of mid-major schools.
And they just get scared away when they see an injury. It's not even a knee injury, mind you.
Yeah. No,
But
yeah,
that
I think
seems
it
like it
is.
happened, right?
Yeah, I didn't really play for the winter and I played one session in the spring. I thought I played all right, nothing like I was supposed to though, but um, sort of didn't play in the winter and spring, summertime, and it's sort of obviously it's a business. They got to recruit the next guy up. They can't really wait. Schools in general can't really wait around for anybody. So I'm
Yeah,
happy Rhode Island did.
yeah. How was the recruiting experience with you? It was a long
Uh,
drive, wasn't
yeah, yeah, it
it?
was it was good. Obviously, you try to enjoy as much as you can, having all these schools and coaches and other players and whoever it is text you, call you all the time, checking in with you, just trying to get you to their school. So um, it was a lot of times, a lot of phone calls, a lot of text back and forth, whatever it is. But you try to enjoy the whole thing. People dream to be in a situation to have their phone exploding like that. So just try to take it for what it was, just sort of figure out the best place.
Can you describe your game? But I see mostly from your highlights a guy that like goes straight to the rim. You
Yeah.
go downhill
Mhm.
very well, and some people don't go that. You go really strong in
Yeah.
there, but you obviously you have more than that to your game.
Yeah.
Tell us
Um,
about what we can expect out. Are you a 3-point shooter? How's your
yeah.
defense?
So, naturally, I think one of my earliest things is I was able to, get above the rim and start dunking pretty early in my career. I think I got my first dunk in a game summer going into my eighth grade year.
Really?
Yeah, so I was
Wow.
young, just being able to get above the rim like that, especially now, just always made me feel comfortable going to the basket, knowing I could get by somebody and get up like that. So, over the years, being able to get to the rim, I think my jump shot has increased a lot. That's probably the biggest thing I've been working on just in general is you gotta have a jump shot. So people expecting me to go to the rim, they give me a few feet. I'll say I'm a very confident shooter, especially now. I shot the ball really well last summer. The games I did play in the winter time, I shot the ball really well. So sort of being a double threat, get downhill and also, but if they give me space, definitely knock down a jump shot.
You're definitely a 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
But I,
my AAU team was super big on take shooting threes, taking threes, and making a lot of threes. So sort of had to have it there to play.
yeah, well, that's great news to hear. There were some people didn't know for sure, and in these days we need as many 3-point shooters as possible. Do you live in Massachusetts or
Yeah,
where?
I'm from Massachusetts, so like 30 minutes out of Boston. But I go to school in Newport, Rhode Island, so I'm like 30 minutes from campus, 25, 30 minutes from campus.
How's that living in almost living, but going to school in Newport? Is it
Yeah.
glamour, almost like South Beach, or it's a beautiful
Yes.
city?
No, yeah, it's a good time. I got there when I was just turned 14. So I
Hmm.
got there when I was younger. This might be my fifth year at that school. So I did my freshman year, sophomore year, junior, senior year. Just gonna be my fifth year there, but it's good. Obviously, people hear Newport and they think, oh, sunshine, beaches, all that.
Yeah,
But by the time we get there, it's sort of phasing out. So it's a lot of
sure.
cold,
Yeah.
rain, you know. But it's a good spot. When the weather is nice, it's a fun place to be. Newport is like 10, 15 minutes from campus. So it's a good spot for sure, right next to the water.
And you have a great Under Armour team. They have phenomenal players that came out. I think you have 9 Division I players.
Yeah.
So when it's said and done, where do you see yourself next year? Do you see yourself as an off guard? There's a lot of there's 3 guards leaving, but do you
Yeah.
feel like you have the speed being a little taller to guard a super fast guard sometimes, or would you be more comfortable playing the wing?
I'll do whatever I need to do. I think being at my school, even though it's high school, I'm one of the bigger guys just because it is high school. So I'm definitely on the wing a lot, but you know, bringing the ball up, running offense, nothing has never really been a problem to me.
With your fractures, was it a Jones fracture? Whatever.
It was a stress fracture that turned into a full fracture
Yeah.
on the fifth metatarsal.
Did you have your heart set on before the injury on any specific school, or was it?
Nah, I think if I did, I would have committed. If
Yeah.
I did, but you know, definitely did not.
And it took about 14 months, didn't it?
Well, my right foot was from December to March,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was healthy again. And this one's been from June to August.
Where are you at now? Are you getting ready to hit the floor
Uh, yeah,
practice wise?
September 3rd is my date. I'm good to go. So a few more, about a week left. So just counting it down, I guess.
The day after Labor Day. You must be
Mhm.
really excited about that.
Yeah, that's the day I'm moving to school. So
I
mhm.
might have to switch to being a podiatrist and fifth metatarsal.
Mhm.
You're out twice last season.
Yeah.
How did you hurt it? A lot of times people fall on someone else's foot. Was that
So yeah, nah, my first one, my right foot was just overuse. I had a super tight.
overuse, really?
Yeah, I had really tight calves, and I just kept playing on it when I wouldn't stretch enough. I stretched a lot actually, but just wear and tear over time just sort of ended up just rubbing and pulled it apart. And then I got an X-ray on it actually, and it came back negative. So I kept playing on it for like another month, and then that's when it just like I couldn't even walk. It hurt so bad. So they actually missed the stress fracture, the first X-ray. So that's why I kept playing on it.
That's right. Yeah, if it was anyone but Rhode Island, who came in second?
Uh, um, you
There's some
know,
good teams in here. The list
yeah,
keeps going.
it was a lot of good staffs, good coaches, but obviously it was hard to figure out because of my injuries. But I liked Minnesota. I like Penn State. Those are two good
Yeah,
spots. So
yeah. Well, my favorite is Albany because of the logo.
I got Albany
And
pretty early on.
Sebastian will tell you about Albany.
Yeah,
This is what we like about Barrett. So you have
yeah,
a nice stroke from three. You handle the ball well. You're about 6'6", and that's not an easy thing to do.
yeah,
Would you consider yourself a pretty someone who, when you give him the ball, will not
yeah.
be a liability, won't turn it over?
No, I don't think so. I sort of been a guard wing my whole life, so just having the ball in my hands a lot just always made it like sort of a natural thing. I wasn't ever really like a I can't move the way I'm supposed to type of
Hmm.
height.
And you have nice touch around the hoop, so that must mean not only do they set plays for you, but maybe you get a lot of offensive rebounds.
Yeah, yeah. I try to do my job rebounding at school. You got one of our big wings, Dylan does a really good job rebounding. So, try my best to help him out down low.
Had
Yeah.
you ever meet Tyler?
Yeah, I talk with Tyler here and there. He came and played with us a few times, so he's obviously insane player. Comes back to he went to St. George's as well, so St. George's, Middlesex, easy connection there. Um, but yeah, I watched him play. He was actually the year before I came to St. George, so he graduated. Then I came in the next year, but to see him go from high school to the league now, work ethic's a crazy thing for him. So just trying to, watch what he does and follow up with that.
It's funny that I've had a guest on who's, like I said, Dick Weiss is very smart. And I told him, I said, how could Rhode Island miss recruiting him? So you know what he said to me? What about Providence? They
Yeah,
did too.
yeah,
But
both.
did you expect he started at George Mason? He did pretty well. He won some Players of the Week. But can you expect anything from that where he is now? I mean, I think he's going to make the rotation on the Knicks.
Oh, I fully do. The point guard above him's a 6'2", 6'3" lefty guard, just like him. So, I think it'll be easy for him to just sort of learn from Brunson. And, obviously he's an older guy. He was in college for a while, super
Hmm.
smart player. So, um, I don't think I'll have any problem at all fitting in with the Knicks and, finding minutes in the rotation at all.
I'm going to give you a homework assignment, if you don't mind. If you could get him on this show, I
Yeah.
don't know what I could do for you, but I'll figure something out. I'd like to introduce Mr. Rocky DeAndrade. He is the trainer for Barrett. He's going to tell us all about Barrett. We know he's a good player. We know he's 3 stars. We know he's tall. We know that high majors like Xavier are crazy about him until his injury, but we don't know him as a player like you do, obviously. Tell me, well, first, Rocky, thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely, Scott. Thanks for having me on this call. I'm excited to talk about Barrett and get into it.
Yeah, so let's go right away. What should we know about Barrett? He's a blank slate, I would say, for us as fans. We know a
Yeah.
little bit, but not like you.
So Barrett's a special one. I mean, he is somebody who physically on the court has all the gifts you're looking for. Somebody who's super athletic, very skilled. But then what makes Barrett even more special is the things that you really can't coach, right? Like the fact that he's a kid in high school, but he's already into self-development. Like he's working on himself all the
Really?
time. Oh yeah, he's as consistent as they come. He's always working on his body in the weight room. And when you look at somebody who you want on your team, like Barrett's the guy. Like he's always going to put 100% in, and he's proactive with it. You never have to ask him to do anything. Like that's the energy he's going to bring to the team. So um, that's yeah, Barrett's a special one in that sense.
And as a player, what can we expect from him? We really don't know. I know one thing. He
Yeah.
attacks the rim from his highlight.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I don't know at all. And I'm quite eager to find out from you.
Yeah, no, Barrett's I would say one of the best things he does is he's electric in transition. So he's he's able to find his way through and get to the rim. He's very elusive, and he's a great shooter. So he can stretch the floor, shoot threes.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's working on. He's been working on his pull up game for the past 2 years now, like really intensely. So that's another area where you can expect to see a lot of promise there. Just being able to score the ball from all three levels. And he's a great facilitator. He's very smart and he's selfless. So he always makes the right play. That's another thing that's important about Barrett. So he's the full package. I mean, he's going to go in
Wow.
there and he's going to be a guy that his teammates are going to love to play with. I think that's ultimately what's one of the most important things.
Maybe that's his nickname, the package. You heard it here first.
This past spring, I mean, he really took a jump in his defense. Taking initiative of being somebody who can get stops on the floor, and that's an area of growth for him. In the past, that wasn't necessarily a thing for him, but he took that on as a challenge, and he excelled until he got hurt again. So that's an area where you can expect to see continued growth. I think his ability to shoot the ball is another one. I think you wouldn't look at Barrett and say, "Oh, he's a sniper," like by any means, but just because that's not all he does, right? He does so many other things that you might overlook his ability to shoot the ball, but he can shoot it.
Well, there is an emphasis this season on defense, and the defense is ahead of the offense. They've already been to the Bahamas, and they'll catch up with the offense, but they have the horses now, the athletic ability they didn't have last year, the quickness, the length, and they'll lose a few players. They're losing 3 guards, so there's an opportunity. You think Barrett could come in right away and play? It's hard to say because it's an unknown quantity, and you're not that familiar with the Rhode Island team, and it'll be a different team next year. But can he play right away and contribute?
Absolutely. Yeah, I fully believe it. I mean, the thing that makes me so confident in saying that is I know how much work Barrett's going to put in between now and the time he steps foot on that campus. So, with that being said, where he's at now is he's already a great basketball player, but where he's going to be by the time he gets to URI, I mean, I can only imagine. When I tell you, I'm like the amount of work he puts in consistently is, it's that's why I'm fully confident when I say that. I do think he can make an impact right away.
He's 6'6", and the Atlantic 10 is known for their guard play. In fact, we had Hoops Weiss on a few weeks ago. He's a very well-known basketball expert, and he said that there's not that much of a difference between the Big East guards and the Atlantic 10 guards, and we have some really quick guards this year, and we will have next year. Can he play the two, or is that he is tall, and sometimes when you're his height, maybe you don't have the quickness, maybe you do. What do you think?
Yeah, Barrett. Yeah, Barrett. Even though he's 6'6", I mean, he moves like a point guard. So,
Wow.
yeah, no, he'll be fine. I have no doubts. But again, this goes back to what I was saying before. Like, he is where he is now, but after a year in the weight room and just preparing to get ready on that campus, I think he's going to be, a different player altogether. So, I expect his defense to take that leap with him.
Well, he's a very positive kid. I could tell already. One of his quotes, he said his injury was a blessing in disguise.
Oh yeah.
And that's because he was able to put in about 15 more pounds. He was able to hit the weight room with his foot injury.
And just to touch on, what you were talking about, where you were saying that, Barrett was saying how it was a blessing. This is what I'm talking about when I say that he's, wise beyond his years. There's kids his age, even people that are older than him, that when this injury happens to them, they're thinking the worst. They are, feeling sorry for themselves. But even after the second injury, which for a lot of people was like, oh, devastating, he's finding a way to turn it into a positive. And look what happens. I mean, he puts on 15 pounds, puts on more muscle, and it just goes to show you like the type of mindset that he has. And I think with great people, that ultimately is the separator. Like, how do you manage situations like this, and how do you think? and Barrett's wise beyond his years in that area.
Yes, I could tell by interviewing him. I got to know him, and he is very strong-willed. And it would be kind of devastating when you do have the same injury on your other foot. Like, what else is going to go wrong? But
Right.
the way you're saying, he's the guy to overcome those injuries, and
100%.
maybe he'll come back even stronger.
Absolutely.
How did you get hooked up with him?
So I knew Barrett before he was with Middlesex. This was 2020 was the first time I met Barrett. He was in the gym. He was actually training with one of our other trainers at the time, and then COVID hits, so he comes back. In the summer of 2021. That's when we really started to get in the gym.
Wow.
And from there, it's ever since. So he's just the gym that I train at, and I run all of our training out of. He was always there, and then eventually it was just kind of organic, where it was like, "Hey, you're trying to get these goals.
Yeah.
We can help each other here. Let's go. Let's get after it." So from there, we just have been consistent ever since.
And does he have the handles? Is he a good ball handler?
So so this is an area for him. He's good, but he's got a lot of work to do here, right? So like he's a good ball handler.
Mhm.
And again, he's always working at it. So the progress has been great. And the time will tell just how good he can get with it. But this is an area where he knows, like, hey, I got to get better here, and we've been working at it. So we'll see where he gets, but I'm excited for him.
Is he 6'6"? Is he 6'5"? Or we
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Is
6'5",
he 6'6"?
yeah,
6'5"?
6'5", 6'6", yeah.
Yeah. Well,
If you ask him, he'll tell you 6'6". I can't
yeah,
tell. All the guys in the gym, they're around the same height anyways, but yeah.
6'5" is very good. How would you compare him to an NBA player? Which NBA? Don't you hate that question that people ask?
Yeah, it's funny. We actually we always look for comparisons. That way these guys can watch film and take parts of the games of people that are already at the highest level. And it's funny, we both I sent him a video a while back of this guy on the I believe on the Denver Nuggets. He used to play for
Oh, you hit it. You
yeah,
nailed it.
is it Christian Brown, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's his name. Yeah, so he that's the one. So I saw the way he was moving. I was like, wow, that Barrett actually moves a lot like him. They play similar. So, now we look at his film, and now it's about, okay, well, what can we take from his game? And so that's his comparison, I would say.
Yeah, it's funny
You
that you
guys have
both
already
hit
talked
that.
about it.
We're putting his name on the map. I had to Google a little bit. I'm embarrassed to say I wasn't that familiar with him, but he played on a championship Kansas team, and he's playing for the
Yeah.
Nuggets right now,
Yep.
doing really well. That's great. Well, once again, thanks for coming in. We'll stay in touch and go from there. Can't wait. I
Yep.
wish it was this year, but we do want him to get another year of workouts with you. You seem
Yeah. Yeah. He'll be
you
further
take a little
along.
credit, right?
Yeah, no, he's putting in the work. It's all working.
Oh, great.
All right, Scott. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Yep. Take care. See you
Okay.
later.